we ask them, like, what do you think comes first, the $1 million or the millionaire mindset? And they're like, oh my God, yeah, the millionaire mindset. And we're like, exactly. Because it's the mindset that feeds the action, and the action is what feeds the result. But when people come to me and they say, I want to make more money, I'm like, well, that's not a problem. That's a symptom of a problem. So what you're saying is in reverse now, because making more money and having more money and holding more money is not going to solve whatever problem it is that you ran into in the first place. I have to remind women all the time, I'm like, guys, at the end of the sales call, we're not handing them a bag of money.
Here with the gorgeous Brooke Triplett, and I'm so excited for our chat today. Welcome to Wealthiest Wife, the podcast.
It's so nice to be here, and we're all matching. Look at us.
I know. I love this. We connected. Oh my God, was it this year? It was this year. It wasn't last. It was this year.
It was this year. Yeah.
Okay, hang on. How quickly is time going by? It was pre-Europe holidays. That's right. So yeah, I feel like 4 months ago. Oh my God, I feel like we've been chatting for longer.
Well, I was in America, I think, when we first, and we had the masterclass. Yeah. And I remember getting up at the crack of dawn, and I was like, I hadn't slept. Oh gosh.
Well, I love this. So this is what I love the online space where you just attract in the connections and the friendships when we're just aligned. And so I've been inside Brooke's incredible, huge community where you're helping so many women, step into their power. Right? So it's so aligned with Wealthy as Fuck and that brand. And that's why I'm like, Brooke, you got to get on the podcast. We got to have a chat. Want to hear your story. Well, I know a bit of your story, but I want others to hear your story. So I'd love for you to tell us the story. Take us back, paint the scene, paint the picture for us.
Gosh, it's such a... So, okay, let's go back. So I'm Brooke. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. I think let's go back to when I was at uni, because this is something that I want to hit on today with a lot of people, is that especially if you have boomer parents, which I do, and they didn't have the same access to education as what we did. It was their dream for us to go to uni, get a degree, buy a house, work in that job, and just like that, you've made it if that's what you do. So there was a lot of pressure on me. I was the eldest to do that. I finished school, had to do TE. That's what it was called at the time. And then once I'd done that, I needed to know what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, go to uni, get that, and be done with it. And I had no idea. I had no idea what I wanted to do, as many of us when we're 17. We're still children, for goodness sake. So I went to uni and did a business degree first. That's what I started with, because I was like, commerce, can never go wrong with that. Absolutely hated it. Absolutely hated it. I was like, I didn't realize this was going to be accounting and finance and just all the things that I was like, I didn't even study that at school. So why would I want to go into that now? Quit that within the first few weeks. Then I was like, you know what? I want to be famous. So I'm going to do journalism. My first unit was on newspaper writing, and I didn't understand how regulated and rigid and the writing had to be. I felt in a box, and I was like, these are your rules, only write to those rules. So with that, a couple of girls quit at the same time I did, because we were like, we don't want to do that. And they were all going to pursue a career in creative writing, so magazines. And I'm like, I want to do that too. So followed them, started doing that. No, that was bad. In fact, I remember sitting in the classroom, and the tutor, she was like, all right, we're going to review some of the assignments today. And she popped one of my assignments up on the screen for everyone to basically throw shit at. And she made me read a paragraph of my own assignment. Keep in mind that no one in the class knew it was mine except me. And after that, I was like, I'm done with uni. It's just not for me. So took 6 months off, and there was a moment that I had with a little girl down the beach. And I was like, hang on a sec. Why have I never thought of teaching? I love kids. I like the idea of having holidays. I'm going to go back and do education, and I'm just going to go all into that. So that's what I did. Finish uni. Worked as a teacher, and I did really like it. I don't think uni prepares you for what teaching actually is. I think there's lots of people that will agree with that statement. I remember getting placed. Like I finished uni, I went straight into a classroom and I was like, had a moment where I was just standing there going, what the heck am I doing? And you just have to find your feet. So I just stuck with it. I liked it. And then it got to a point where I was like, okay, what's next? Like I had my first year, I was repeating the same sessions, we were doing the same activities, everything was already organized. I knew the structure, the routine. And so I would vividly remember this. I was sitting on the floor of the classroom and we had a section at the end of the day where the kids would go and choose a book and they'd bring it back to us and I'd read the book and that's how the day would end. And so one of the kids got up, chose a book. I knew the book. I knew the words in the book. I knew the questions they were going to ask. I knew when they were going to laugh. And I'm like, it felt like time froze because this was going to be my life for the next 40 years. And in fact, the teacher next to me in the class next to me, she had been at that same school in that same classroom for 40 years. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want this. I do not want this. And so that's what it's like lifted the veil almost. Like I felt like I had a veil on and it just lifted. And all of a sudden I'm like opportunities everywhere just were coming to me. And that's when Isogenics kind of landed in my lap and I was like, let's go. Wasn't in it for very long, but that's kind of what opened my eyes to, okay, hang on a sec. I don't want to be a teacher forever. I want to know what else I can do to create impact. I knew I wanted to create impact. I wanted to create impact on a much larger scale than in a classroom for 30 kids every year in the same place. So yeah, that's kind of how it all started.
Oh my, that was my life too. That was my life too. I think we said that when we first were talking to each other. I think you were like, oh my gosh, our story's the same. Totally forgot the network marketing for a second. I'm like, no, you told me that because you saw that I did it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Do you know human design, by the way? I'm like super curious.
I actually do, but I don't. Like I know what it is and I know I've done it before, but I couldn't tell you like what it actually is.
I'm like, you sound like a manifesting generator. I don't even know if that. So what, we like get bored really quickly. We just like to do new things. But you know what? I feel you and I get that because I did the uni thing too. Like we did our TE because firstborn, have to do that. Got to prove that we're good enough and make our family proud. And, you know, I did the whole sports science at uni. So I knew I wanted to do something sciencey. Sports science is literally like you don't know what you want to do, but you have to go to uni and you want to do something around the sciences and like the human body itself. So the sports science, it's like only a 3-year degree because then you go and postgraduate and whatnot. And I did that. So look, we finished our degrees. We got degrees in the end.
Mine's still hanging up in my dad's office. Like he's so proud of it. And I'm like, I don't even look, I'm sure I've used elements of my degree in what I do now. You know, there's some things that I'm like, I still do. The way that I loved running my classroom was I would have our learning criteria, like our success criteria. I'd put our intentions up on the board and I still do that. That's how I run sessions. I'm like, this is the objectives. This is what we're going to achieve. You'll know if you're successful, if you can walk away from this having done all these things. That's how I still operate. So I'm like, I'm still grateful that I've had that experience and I have that, you know, piece of paper behind me. But do I think I would still be in this spot without that degree? Absolutely.
You would. It's like it's all part of the path, right? Like it still gives us a level of authority within ourselves and that confidence. It's nice to say I have a degree, but look, mine is still in my office drawers, still in the same envelope that I received them in 10 years ago. Like they haven't even, I think I may have pulled them out to look at them and like keep them in the envelope to keep them safe. Never been put them in a frame to hang on. I'm like, maybe I should give it to my parents because they'll probably appreciate this more than, that's a good idea.
I mean, it kind of just feeds the narrative though of like what they want for their children. So I'm kind of just, you know, I didn't even go to my graduation ceremony. I didn't get the like throwing the hats in the air. I didn't go. And I'm like, the writing is on the wall for me. I never fit into that. You know, even when I was at school, I was like the arts kid. Like I always would do subjects that required me to move my body or to be in different areas of the school, like performing arts. Like I was that kid. So I just was never built for a classroom, an office. I'm not.
So we learned in an office, in this box, in the system.
Yeah.
So I love this. I actually like this doesn't happen with everyone, but those of us who did the network marketing thing, first of all, I think we attracted it to help us break it's what at our age, I can't get my words out because I like know exactly what I want to say or wants to come out once. When was this? Like 10 odd years ago, when we did that, it was like there's so much stigma around it. It's like that's not real business. That's not, and I feel like it was a pathway forward to help us just break the generational cycles of the stigma, that paradigm. So, like, I love it. I'm all for it. Like, I support anyone who does it. But tell me then, take us to like the evolution of Brooke Triplett, because now you run an incredible, a hugely incredible online business helping women. SheSells. If you guys are watching on YouTube, you've got a little logo there. I love that. I was like, hang on, you need to tell me where you got that because I want to get one of those.
One of my members made it for me. So I can't even tell you. I know it just sits on my desk and I love it. It's so special.
It's so pretty. It's like a little trophy. There's your degree. There's your hang out. Anyway, tell us about the evolution of Brooke Triplett into creating SheSells and the drive and the passion behind it.
Okay, so let's go back. MLM was like I said, it was the first unveiling to what is out there. And I didn't even plan on doing it. I kind of got swept up in the, hey, talking to a nice boy who then took me on a date to an isogenics party. And I'm like, this is weird. We're at a like rec center and there's people sitting around in chairs and like we're now talking about these weight loss supplements. And I'm kind of like, what is he trying to say? But I was like, you know what? Like, I like this boy. So I stuck around and I ended up, of course, bought the stuff in the night at the thing. Never planned on actually going into the business side of things. I loved the products. Absolutely loved the products. I was obsessed with them. I saw an immediate change just in my energy and all the good things. So naturally, you want to start talking about them. When you love something, like if you watch a good TV show or you go to a good restaurant, you're like, who can I tell about this experience? And so that's what it was for me in the beginning. Yeah. It was just telling people were noticing a change in me. So it was very organic how I started talking about it. And then the nice boy was like, why don't you actually start a business with this? Which I kind of resisted because I was like, oh, I'm a teacher. You know, I'm just happy talking to people about it. But then I was like, he told me the commission structure and all of that. And I'm like, all right, well, let's just give it a go. And making money is quite addictive. And so I remember being in the classroom, like literally on my phone while the kids were doing an exercise, like following up with people and booking in appointments and just doing all the things. Like I went all into this and did quite well. It wasn't too long where I started to notice like the icky side of MLM. And I still think this exists to this day because we don't know how to sell. You're releasing a bunch of people into this world. You're throwing them in there with no sales training, a product and the idea of the possibility of earning all of this money. And so of course they become stuck in this desire frequency, which is like needy, desperate. It's why people take the piss when they see a DM from someone they haven't spoken to in years. It says, hey, girly, because it's like, that's how it felt. And that's what it was like.
Yeah. Sorry, like I was that person. And they used to say, the saying is, what's amazing about MLM is anyone can do it. You don't need qualification. I'm like, that's yes. But the duality of that is equally the worst thing about it. Because if you don't have business training, sales, all of those things, you become the spammy person. I was that. And God, I learned, like I put myself through my paces. But yes, there's that side of it. So I think a little bit lesson for people if you're listening and you're in network marketing, like go get the fucking training. Go connect with Brooke, you know, because
just yourself up to success because like you're sold the dream. Let's go right back, right? You're sold the dream because you don't know how to sell people. So you just sell them the idea of what's possible, which is fine. But then you're kind of like, okay, bye. And then they've got to figure it out themselves, which again is fine. But without sales training, without actually understanding who wants like to buy your product, you're literally banging on people's doors that they're not interested. And like I had someone in my DMs just yesterday being like, Brooke, I have 3 Thermomixes that I need to sell and my friends and family doesn't want them. And I'm like, and she was like, what should I do? And I'm like, well, did your friends and family even want Thermomixes in the first place? She's like, well, it doesn't really matter. I just need to sell 3 so I can make my $1,000 and mine's free. And I'm like, there it is. So the intention behind what she's actually doing is off. It's unethical. And unfortunately, for a lot of people who don't understand sales, the intent is always self-serving. It's like, well, if I just sell 2 people, then my thing's going to be free and I'm going to make money. But it's like, is the thing you're actually selling them going to help solve a problem? And if the answer is no, leave them alone. Get out of their DMs and actually try and market yourself and position yourself as someone who can solve a problem. You will call in the right people.
This is great. If you're listening and you're not in network marketing, but you have your own business, it applies the same, because I learned that the hard way, but then it helped me massively scale my coaching business, because I did actually learn that. And I want to say this, because I actually shared this on when I was a guest on another podcast. And I talk about the selfish being selfish, right? Like, at the end of the day, I'll speak for myself with this, and I can speak for anyone. I know you'll agree. We're doing our business because we want money to have a better quality of life. But the only way that I am going to have more money in my business and make more money is I've got to make it about like the client. How can I solve their problem? And as a result, my selfish goal will get ticked by being the selfless, like being the caring, actually wanting to help them. When you're just driven by that need for that, because it's exciting. And I was there, I was like, oh my gosh, I see this dream. I want it. I've never had that. People feel that. And people, like, if I say, hey, I'm going to buy a new pair of Gucci shoes, do you want to donate to help me? Like, you're like, well, that mission is just about you getting what you want. No, I'd rather me get it, you know?
And unfortunately, this is where like a lot of people hang in that desire frequency, which for a sales rep, even business owners, it's a really low frequency desire because it breeds that neediness. It's where the coined commission breath was actually. It's because I'm chasing for the next sale, for the next yes. And that is a really low frequency. So energy doesn't lie. So you could be saying all of these words, but people are feeling this offness about you, that neediness, that desperate energy. And it's why we get such a bad rep. And it's why network marketing specifically is such a bad rep, because it's just like convince, chase, to people that don't even want the damn thing in the first place, don't have a problem to solve. So yeah, it's a really, I learned that the hard way, because I was that too. I was that person who I didn't care who you were. I didn't care if you had I didn't care. I was like, I want to hit that next rank. I want this for myself. It was very self-serving. And there was also some dodgy shit that was happening and that I was told to do, like making up customers, like all of this fakeness. And it hit me just straight in the face when my sister said to me, like, Brooke, you are just not, like, you've changed. So I turned down, I'd won like a 4-week mentorship to hang out with like the top line, a millionaire. And she had bought my flights and everything, and I didn't go. And yes, was that a like shitty thing to do? It was, but I at that point, it was like another unveiling. It was like I'd been woken up almost, and I was kind of like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Who have I become? I wasn't proud of her, and I wasn't proud of the mess that I left behind me, because it was a mess. So left network marketing and was like, never touching this again. Kind of just had a bad taste in my mouth about the whole thing, and thought that I was done with sales. But I think I've actually just recently kind of got into numerology, and I know for some people that's like a bit woo-woo, but honestly, for me, understanding the modality in my vehicle and like what I've been put on this earth to do, sales was always going to fucking find me. It was in my freaking it's who I'm meant to be.
You have to go through that. It's your pain always becomes a purpose, right?
Yeah.
Like you choose your pain. You were terrible at selling, so you had to learn how to do it so you can help other people break out of that pain and actually succeed. Yeah.
That's exactly it. So I quit sales, quit MLM, went back to teaching, and then it wasn't long again, because this is the thing, right? When you recognize you're on the wrong train, you can't unsee that. So all of the same issues that I ran into the first time I had this awakening happened again, but this time it's like double the speed. So last time it happened over a period of like, however long, 10 years. This time it was like, oh shit, first term, here we go again. And so that length of time, the first time when I'm like, hey, I think I've boarded the wrong train, by the time you get up out of your seat, by the time you walk over to the exit, by the time you actually have the courage to press that damn button and get off the train, that's a decade. This time, I'm like, no, I'm on this wrong train again. And it's taking me somewhere that I know I don't want to go to. Like, I've got to get off fast. So literally quit. I went into another sales role. This one was in person. I got a company car. I got a laptop, a phone. I got all the little treaties, but I was selling tobacco.
I already know that's not aligned with your values. That's why I'm laughing.
I've never smoked. I've literally never smoked. I don't ever intend on smoking. How on earth, and this is the incongruency, how on earth am I trying to figure out pricing boards to get people to buy more Winfield? And I don't even know, I don't even believe in the damn thing. Like, you can see how, again, incongruency, I got to the point where I could not get out of bed to go to work. And I end up fabricating this huge lie because I'm a reformed people pleaser. But I used to tell myself a story that if I was to let someone down, that they would be mad at me and all this stuff. So I was like, well, instead of letting them down, I'm going to make up a story that, anyway, it just shows you.
Don't even have a pet, something like that.
Well, I told them I needed back surgery, and my poor mom, never lied ever, had to drop my car off, my laptop, and everyone was like, is she okay? And mom was just like, she was so mad at me. She's like, you need to I don't know, you need to do better. So then I was like, right, I am done with sales. Like, there is absolutely no way in this world that I am ever going back to sales. So wound back up in the classroom. Same thing fucking happened. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, you don't unsee the problem. Well, it's there, and it just gets louder and louder and louder. So a lot of people, unfortunately, they learn to just suppress, stay on the wrong train. They're like, whatever, this is my life now. But I'm just not wired that way. So again, quit. I went into the fitness industry, which is the best thing I ever did because I learned a lot about myself and it allowed me to travel. I traveled to Sydney, traveled to Melbourne, was really good at sales. My boss would be like, hey, can you teach everyone else what you're doing? And I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just talking to people. But this is the thing, right? I believed in what I was doing. So my energy was doing all the work for me. This could be saying anything. It didn't matter because my energy was like, I am here to help and serve you. And I know that I can get you results. And people would just throw money at me because of that. So that happened. And the gym ended up going under, unfortunately, not because of the amazing work we did, just because the company was poorly run. And we wound back up in Perth and I went back to teaching. Again, it shows you the power of a safety, like a rope attached to you. And then I remember I got a phone call, and this is the importance of being in tune with your body and your intuition and just following that instinct and all of that, because we had a housemate who we didn't end on good terms because we were all young. We just didn't really get along amazing. And it ended up being quite bad. We were not on speaking terms. He was ringing me and I'm like, God, full shakes. I'm like, he's going to ask for money. He's going to yell at me about something, something is wrong here. And usually, knowing me, who couldn't even quit a job, why the fuck would I answer that call? But it was like I couldn't control my hand, which pressed answer. And I answered that call and he was like, Brooke, don't hang up. That's his first words to me. Brooke, don't hang up. I have an incredible opportunity and I really I know it's going to change your life. Please talk to the business owner about remote sales. And I was like, again, I'm a people pleaser. I can't say no. So I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Thank you. Didn't think anything of it. Met the business owner. Didn't even put in any time into this because I was about to go try on a wedding dress. And I was just like, I'm not going to do this, but whatever. So I was literally paying for a parking ticket while I'm talking to him. And he's like, Brooke, I don't think you understand what this is. He's like, you know that people on this account are making $20K a month. And I'm like, sorry. $20K a year? Or a month? A month. And I'm like, all right, let's talk. And so we started talking and I'm like, I'd always grown up with my mum telling me that I could sell ice to an Eskimo. And I just finished at a gym that also was telling me that. So the narrative that I was holding on to was that I am a rock star at sales. I was like, I'm going to come in and crush all of these guys because it was a team of men selling menopausal programs to women. And I'm like, I'm a woman. I can do this. And that's where it all started. So I didn't know how to sell at this point. And I sucked. So my first 4 weeks of being in this role, I only made $440. And I'm like, what? You know, there are people that I could see them making 20K a month, more than that even. And then there was me on 440K. That's not, I mean, 440K, $440. Like, that's not what I was told. But rather than wallow and, you know, play the victim and being like, well, I wasn't trained properly in this and that, I was like, this is an opportunity that I cannot let slip by. Like, I am going to commit to being the best. And that's when I stopped playing not to lose. I started playing to win. And that shift in mindset and just me throwing myself into doing whatever it took to make this work, it landed me where I am today. And I mean, after that, I became the number one on the leaderboard for the next 3 years. No one could take my spot. And I started to recognize that this is incredible for women. And if you want to learn sales, there is not one single woman out there that can teach it to you. You have to go and learn from a man. And there was things that I were taught from men that didn't align with who I was as a woman. Like, I didn't want to say some of the ways that they would handle objections, the way that they thought about sales. Just there were certain terms like closing people, for instance, that I don't like. It just felt it was a very masculine industry at the time. That's what birthed SheSells. For a long time, I felt a way about talking about sales because of MLM and because of the way sales is perceived. And it still is, unfortunately. A lot of people think sales is pushing things down people's throats, convincing, persuading, prospecting, like just all those things. But it really isn't. It's the facilitating of change within someone. And it's the most beautiful gift that you can provide for someone. Right? If you can walk someone to the door of the train and actually guide them off and make that decision for themselves, like, it will change their freaking world. So
I love this. In my head, it's like, even all the whole journey you've gone through, which all the experiences that put a bad taste in your mouth, now where you're at, it's like, now I can help these other people with what I've learned. So it's like coming full circle, which is what I love. So I want to tie this into, you know, the wealthiest fuck experience, because you're here, like, at the end of the day, the reason you do what you do is to help people make more sales so they can make more money, so they can have a better quality of life. Right? That's why we want more money, so we have more choices. Actually, before we do that, I want to ask, so with you, let's talk about like your journey and your relationship with money. Because from what you've shared, you've always been like, well, I get it, like money hungry. It's like, I want more because it's going to give me X, Y, Z. Along the way, or maybe like as you birthed SheSells and stepped into your own like personal brand, you created that. Tell me about your relationship with money, or where was there hurdles, or what did you have to overcome, or has it just been absolutely like smooth?
I can't even answer this question in just a couple of, like, this is a whole episode, because my relationship with money is, and it still is, one that I'm working on, because unfortunately I was part of a family who I saw gain everything really quickly and then lose everything just as fast. And so I carried this belief that money was easy to get, but then hard to hold on to, which means I would always get money. Somehow money would always just work out for me. It would just always work out. You know, if I had a bill to pay and I wasn't getting paid for another 2 weeks, miraculously the money would just land in my account somehow. Yeah. But as fast as it was coming in, it was leaving just as fast. And so the belief of me thinking, oh, money is so hard to hold on to, that was kind of playing out in my own business as well. It was like we were getting in the people, we were bringing in the money, but it was going out the door just as fast on marketing, on bringing on new people, on like wanting to just have the best experience for these women. And I worked with a mindset coach who really helped me understand how damaging that belief can be, because I was literally manifesting it. I was like looking for it to do that, because beliefs can feel like facts, you know?
Yeah.
So I've always had a scarcity mindset. I would love to, with certainty and conviction, tell you that I'm I'm now in an abundant mindset, but I'm not. I still have this.
Well, then I'm like, now we have work to do outside of this podcast.
I know.
With another episode about, remember this conversation?
Yeah.
Well, so there's things you've learned. So let's talk about what you've learned. You've already learned that about yourself. Like, you've got that awareness, and this is awareness precedes change. And the next step, this is the work I do, is, okay, you're aware of it, right? Now we need to change it. Now we need to reprogram it, remove it. But what else? maybe like what inspires you? 'Cause like everyone comes to you at the end of the day, as I said before, because they want to make more money. They want to succeed. They want to get better. So they want to make more money. Do you find a lot of people come to you who are very similar to have a similar story to you? And how do you guide these women through that?
Yeah. So it comes down to that whole like playing to not lose versus playing to win, because you have to have the mindset of possibility. Otherwise, all this unrealized potential that you have, it lays dormant. You don't actually know. So a lot of people come into this being like, I just want to match my salary. And it's like, what? You know how many women I ask, how much do you want to be earning? And they can't tell me. They literally cannot say, I want to earn 20K a month. And if they do say it, it's because we really encourage them to be like, if you could, make any amount of money, how much would it be? And they'd be like, oh, I mean, is 20K too much? And I'm like, I mean, if you think it's too much, it's like they think they're not worthy of bringing in that. And so we have to really guide them to understand, like, you really have to have that mindset of like, I'm playing to win here. I'm playing to make as much money as I possibly can. If you are coming into this playing not to lose and just wanting to meet your salary and just wanting to, I need to jump on one more call so that I can, at least I have made some money for this week. Like, you're never going to win in this industry.
Yeah.
It's all mindset.
Yeah. And that's why we did the masterclass, right? It all actually comes down to mindset. And the amount of clients that I remember when I first started, when I packaged up all my everything I wanted to, and I created, I birthed wealthy as fuck. So I still felt like I'm still very select deprived, right? And my income had dropped from my other business. Couldn't do one-on-ones. You try and do one-on-ones with the baby, even if you like plan naps and everything, just does not work. And the thing is, I have women coming to me earning more than me and being like, and I say this because usually you think if you go to a money coach, you're going to someone who has more money, I guess, in the bank or whatnot, because that's the desire you want to get to. I don't have a shitload in the bank. It was just whatever. They were coming to me and they're like, I've earned all this money, but then I have nothing to show for it. And now I feel like I just need to earn more and I need to earn more. And because their mindset didn't match their mindset and then like the nervous system, right? They didn't feel safe holding. So what do you find? Actually, let's talk about like your clients. Like, what's their biggest wins that they do have once you take them through your process? I know there's like a million different things, but let's talk about this because they're coming to you like they're still feeling stuck and they're learning your processes and your methods. What are the wins that they're having?
Okay, so let's talk about the outside of money wins first, because we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Wins that they're having is just like complete transformation in who they are. SheSells has become a container that I didn't even, when I first started it, it's birthed into something that I didn't even think was possible. Like, women are coming in and having full body transformations in just how they think, how they act, how they walk, their whole being is changed, because when you learn how to communicate at its highest possible level, it unlocks this confidence. It unlocks the ability for you to get whatever you want when you want it, because you know how to communicate and you literally can read people's body language, tonality, energy. You learn how to do that. So it's like a superpower. You feel like you can literally maneuver conversations. And, there's a real negative connotation to the word manipulate. And I don't like it, because manipulating something doesn't always mean it's a bad thing, right?
Like, everything in life is a manipulation. It's the intention.
It's literally like what I always preach, because people will always say, oh, she manipulated me. And it was like, well, hang on, let's take it one step back. What was the intent behind that? Because you can use a hammer to slaughter someone, but you can also use a hammer to hang up a beautiful portrait of your family. So what was the intent behind it? And it's like, it's everything. Intent is everything. So I don't know why I even got there, but what I was saying is people are leaving toxic relationships. Women are coming in and finding their people and doing incredible things. Like, I mean, you know what happens when you finally feel aligned with something and you back yourself, like the universe starts providing. So like, these women are just experiencing opportunities left, right, and center. They're really stepping into a position of power and just taking on responsibility. Just honestly, watching them change and transform has been my most favorite part of SheSells, even more so than seeing them actually start earning money.
Yeah.
Watching them transform into like their most powerful self it gives me goosebumps, because that's what I want for every woman.
It's so true. So many wealthy as fuck. It's like it's about you become creating your wealthy as fuck life. The money's the byproduct. We just think we want the money because based on our conditioning, it's like that's the tangible outcome that I need to focus on to get what I want. But it's you're actually becoming the version of you that you need to be to have that life, and the money comes to support it. Right? It's like the money's the in between resource. It's not the actual end result. I'm sure there's a better way to say that.
No, but it's right. When people come to me and they say, I want to make more money, I'm like, well, that's not a problem. That's a symptom of a problem. So what you're saying is in reverse now, because making more money and having more money and holding more money is not going to solve whatever problem it is that you ran into in the first place. So I have to remind women all the time, I'm like, guys, at the end of the sales call, we're not handing them a bag of money. That's not what we're doing. So that's not their problem. That's a symptom of a problem, which means if they even were to be handed a bag of money, it wouldn't make them any happier. It wouldn't actually solve the problem that they have in the first place, because it's not that they don't have any money. That's not the problem. The problem is they hate their 9 to 5, or they don't feel valued in their 9 to 5, or they're not living the life that they want. That's the fucking problem.
But then when we change ourselves, and this I preach this all the time, we're both walking, evidence of this. When we change ourselves, then the money does come. Like we can hold it more, and we get to. Where I was going with that. When you're not the evolved version of yourself, and this like not the wealthy version of yourself, not the confident, whatever you want to label it, right? When the money does come, you spend it just as quick so you'll be happy for an instant, and then you spend it giving you what you think you want it to give you, and then after you just feel shit again. And then you just keep repeating the cycle. But when you evolve into that version of you, when the money comes, it's just, as I said, the byproduct. It's just supporting because you're already making the choices that keep you in alignment and keep you happy and keep you feeling free.
Actually, you know what's so crazy is people don't understand. I used to sit in a chair and be like, no. Like people would say that all the time, you'll make an extra 100K and you won't notice it because you'll just spend more. I'm like, there is no way that would be me. Like there is no way. And now I'm sitting here being like, it is literally true. $10 becomes $100, and $100 becomes $1,000, and $1,000 becomes $10,000. Like you literally start to hold the same value, but it just increases. So like now I'm not shopping at fucking Supre. I'm shopping at Victoria and Woods, and I'm shopping at Beckman Bridge, and I'm shopping at all these places that once upon a time I would walk past and not even look in the direction of that shop because it was my entire pay going towards an outfit. But it just, as your money increases, so does your taste.
Yeah,
so
something like your point of inertia. I heard it once. It's like,
yes,
that's too sciencey for me. And I'm like the science person. And it is. And I was there because I built my network marketing business up to 100 grand a year residual, right? Nothing to show for it. And slightly better clothes. I actually don't know where half the fucking money went because only slightly better clothes, only slightly better wine. But that was the thing because when I could only afford under $10, $20 or under was like, fuck yeah, that's a good deal. Where before I was like, oh, I could get two. Like, don't get me wrong, if there's a nice bottle of wine on sale and it's like 2 for $20 and it's a good bottle, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, that's a win. But yes, exactly. That's what happens. If we don't actually learn to handle what we have and become safe holding it in the bank and then investing it and making it work for us, the sheen hole just gets more zeros on the end of it,
I often tell my girls sometimes because we really are zoomed in. I think we're part of a generation that is just so zoomed in. We focus on the day-to-day, second by second, minute by minute. We forget to look up and look back, which I think it holds such importance. It holds so many lessons, and it can also hold a lot of gratitude when you actually are able to do that. So the other day I was sitting at a beach club with my husband and we're just like drinking cocktails like they're water. We're just like, yep, another one. And I was sitting there and I was reflecting and I was like, Scott, do you remember when we came to Bali in 2018 and we could not, like we had to budget, like we had to be like, okay, we got to stop with the cocktails now because like we only budgeted to spend $100 a day and now we're at actually 200. So the next day we'd have to stay in the hotel all day and like not drink nothing. Like there was a point in time where we couldn't just go out and not care about the bill. And there was also a point in time where I said, if I had the ability, if only I could go out for dinner and just order whatever I wanted and be able to pay for it, I would be so happy. I'll be happy when, and then when comes and you're no happier.
I'm not going to be for tangent with this, but it's the universal law of cause and effect. When I make more money, then I'll feel successful. When I get the boyfriend, then I'll feel loved. But when we align with that universal law, so that's not in alignment with it. That's when it's working like against us in a way. When you align with it, it's I cause the effect, not waiting for the effect to cause my feeling. Yeah, so that's who we need to become. So I guess this is a really good, because it really depends who's listening right now, because they might be inside SheSells as well. And you're like, yes, I've got the tools, I've got the roadmap, I'm becoming this person. And then we need that like last little element of the money where it's then the money you're making, you need a system. And this is why I have the blueprint where you manage it. And this is where the masculine structure comes in to support you. So you can have your cocktails, but your, crypto portfolio is doubling overnight kind of thing, or you're buying your next property. Like you're having cake and eat it too. So I think that's a really good, point with all of this. Like dream big, have big grand desires, be the opportunist. It's the only way you're going to attract it in anyway. But then have the ability to manage and not let's say control, but maybe for lack of a better way, because you're just controlling yourself. You have the structure in place to support it, so you can have everything.
It's so interesting. One of the reframes that we use in a sales conversation all the time, and obviously this is depending on what account you're on as to whether it would actually land with your potential client, but we ask them, like, what do you think comes first, the $1 million or the millionaire mindset? And they're like, every time they're like, oh my God, yeah, the millionaire mindset. And we're like, exactly, because it's the mindset that feeds the action, and the action is what feeds the result. It's not the result never comes first. You don't start acting like a millionaire once the $1 million arrives. In fact, you do the opposite. It's why so many people win the lotto and then they're broken. Yeah.
Just then, I was like, because people are probably listening like, oh, but what if you just inherited? I've got the money and I blew it all because I had the identity to support that. So yeah, mindset is everything. I love this. Anyway, I feel like we have covered so much. Is there any final wisdom you'd love to share?
Oh my God, is that an hour already?
Almost, close to it.
I haven't even said my things. Okay, I want everyone to just know the impact that this industry can have. So, I mean, we have so many women that are working in remote sales roles now. And if they do the inner work alongside learning the skill set, which we know is crucial. If you're working in any performance-based role, your mindset needs to be on lock. Well, there's 2 levers, skill set lever, mindset lever. You got to work on both. And at different times, like if you run into a bit of a dry patch or something's, not quite working, it's like, which lever am I going to pull on? Because sometimes it is skill set. There's a, gap in your skill set. Sometimes there's a gap. There's some work that you need to do with your mindset. So most of my girls who are really crushing, they're pulling in 40K months. I've got one girl selling high-end, 2 girls selling high-end dating services who are making 30 to 40K months consistently. That is life-changing money. Consistently pulling that in. I've got someone selling public speaking. She's on 20K a month consistently. I've got someone selling fitness programs to nurses. She's about to hit her second 30K month. I had someone just the other week do $9,000 in 1 week. And I just want people that are listening to understand, this isn't you buying in. This isn't you buying a product and then trying to find people to sell to. This is you giving time and having leads that the business owner has paid for, put into your calendar, you picking up the phone and facilitating a change within them. It is the best job in the world. I often say if I could scream it from the rooftop of the tallest buildings in every single city, I would, because I want so many women who feel stuck, trapped, whatever it is, boarded the wrong train, to just recognize there is so much opportunity out there, so much. And all they need to do is decide to back themselves and to just remember there's a difference between feeling uncomfortable and unsafe. And somewhere along the line, those two have merged together. But unsafe is literally unsafe, dangerous almost. Uncomfortable is where you grow. The unknown is not unsafe. It could be the best fucking place that you've ever been to, but you will never know that unless you actually take the risk. So, gosh, I could keep giving you money wins, but it's just, this is, 10 to 20 to 30 to 40K a month is what you can expect when you do remote sales.
I think what's really cool about this is to me, depending if you're a business owner, 40K months, 30K months, they're milestones, right? Really depends. But what your selling, what you're helping women do is, breaking out of the traditional way of work, like trading time for money in that sense, or stuck in a salary in a job that you don't necessarily love, but you think, oh, but it's stable, it's safe, this is what I have to do. What else could I do? And maybe you don't want to be a full-blown business owner. You will still, but you want the flexibility of working for yourself. You still want to support a bigger entity, a bigger company. You don't want to have to do the create the product, create the service, do all that marketing. But when I fucking love, I'm like the best. It's like you're the person who just prefers, this is all the network marketing does come in. It's word of mouth, right? You fall in love with something and you're like wanting more and more people to have this too because it's fucking life changing. So you help these women break out of the most traditional 9 to 5. Like maybe if you're on a good wicket, you're on about just over 6 figures a year. Unless you go into the industries like mining or you've worked, you're like, I'm not going to hit 200 grand a year until I spend another 10 years climbing, sucking, kissing ass, I should say, all of the things. So the 9,000 a week is life-changing. 20 grand a month is life-changing. Especially, I know you have a lot of mums that come in as well. And I think that's so amazing because being a mum, as we know, you don't want to have to go back to 9 to 5 or put your kid in daycare that costs 80% of your wage anyway. Right? So, no, I love this. I love it. I think you provide, how I view it is you provide this kind of middle, speaking as a CEO, right? Coming from, I used to be an employee, you provide this middle ground, this beautiful middle ground that empowers women to step into that space, take back control their finances, get them, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So powerful.
I think the best way to visualize what SheSells can do for you outside of actually give you a new career and financial time, location, freedom is when you're plugged into the matrix. You may have been plugged in for, since the moment you stepped foot in the classroom as a child. So unplugging is a transition. And you don't just unplug and then not think about it ever again. You unplug and every part of you is pulling you back to that plug. And there's a period of time, the way I like to look at it is, if you are poisoned and you stop taking the poison, it doesn't mean that you immediately feel better. There is a period of time where you're transitioning that's coming out of your body. So there's going to be a lot of uncertainty. Right, you're detoxing. So it's this is what I mean with the transformation is seeing women so scared and so timid to take that first step initially and then seeing the confident badass bitch that they turn into is the most incredible transformation that takes place. And it's because they need to go through that messy middle. They need to kind of cut the ropes to anything that's keeping them the same, keeping them repeating those patterns, keeping them in a job that they're not happy with. So it's just surrendering basically to the process and being you know what? I was plugged in and now I'm not. And that feels scary and it feels uncomfortable. But I know the longer I allow myself in this space, the more I'm going to grow and the closer I'm going to get to the life that I actually want.
Okay, so now, any last bits of wisdom or anything else you would love to share before we wrap up?
Yes. I just want people to stop waiting for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke about this with the cause and the effect, but I just want them to back themselves more and just figure it out along the way. I think we've become such a world where everything needs to be, we need to speak to 10 different people before we make up our mind about something. We need to, scour the net for any possible thing to talk us out of doing something instead of just jumping into something and figuring it out along the way. And I understand that there's lots of scams and there's lots of, crazy things out there. And I'm not telling you not to make informed decisions, but I'm telling you don't need to have it all together to make the decision because, in fact, clarity and the confidence, again, is a byproduct of you actually doing the damn thing. So do the damn thing.
And, you become conscious of it. So I guess we want to say, we're humans having a human experience. And the more you practice doing the damn thing, it gets easier and easier and easier. So you get to a point where I'm in that point where I was it was even hiring my next coach, which is a 5-figure investment because I wanted to work with her. And I'm no, Kim, do the fucking damn thing. Level clarity and confidence and all that will come. But we're human. We're still going to have hesitation. Be aware of it. Do the damn thing. I wish we could I wish things were handed to us on silver platters. Well, they kind of are. We have to do the damn thing of picking it up off the platter and taking it. We all wish things to be easy. We all want it to be handed to us. We all like entitlement makes life so much easier, but it doesn't actually make life easier.
And why do we want an easy life? Like the harder the better, because it just the growth that you get from that, you know. And the thing is, the doubt and the hesitation is never going to go away. Like I'm sure the most successful people in the world still experience that doubt and hesitation on a different level. It's just like your ability to act regardless of that. And I think like that's the key takeaway here is like just get resourceful, figure it out. Like just do it. Do something different. Throw yourself in the deep end for a change. Like how long ago was it that you threw yourself in the deep end and just figured it out? We need to be doing that more. But even if you haven't, figure it out. Like just figure it out. We're so afraid of it. And like we have become, we've just become so fearful to try anything new. Like we go to the same restaurants. We go to the same gym. We go to the gym at the same time every day. Like we're all creatures of habit. I understand that, but it's okay to do a scary thing every now and then. It's okay to throw yourself into the deep end and just know that there's a difference between being unsafe. And yeah, cool. If you haven't had swimming lessons, like, yeah, maybe that is a bit unsafe, but like you still have the ability within you as a human to figure it out. So yeah.
No, I love that. Thank you so, so much. Where can everyone find you? What is the best place for them to connect with you right now?
Well, I hang out most of my time is on Instagram. So SheSells with Brooke is my handle. I also have a podcast, which me and Tash, we just talk all things woman, entrepreneurship, sales. Like you can hang out with me there too. But Instagram, I love a voice note. So let me know how you are feeling, because the thing is, even though I'm saying all of this, I still so understand those ropes and those voices that are keeping you where you are. So I'm not scary. I understand and I will hold your hand through making that transition. But I can only do so much. Like I'm never going to push you through the door.
Yeah.
I'll hold my hand out and you can take that step through yourself.
Yes. You know, what's the saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. We can lead you, but you have to realize that you're actually thirsty.
Yeah.
I love metaphors because you can just keep playing on them. I'm like, you get to choose if you're going to dehydrate or you're going to drink.
Exactly. Everything's a choice. There's a consequence to every decision you make. There's a consequence to waiting on something. There's a consequence. Like this is why I love sales and communication, is because you can literally do that to yourself. You can ask yourself, all right, this is my decision. What's the consequence of me not doing this? What is the possibility of me doing it? You can literally reframe yourself every damn time. So yeah, you learn to communicate with others. You also learn to communicate with yourself, because that's the most important person.
Everyone go find Brooke on Instagram. That's how we met. I think you voice messaged me first.
Did I?
Fuck it. Oh, I voiced you a photo. I got a photo of you. I think when the kids were chilling, you're like, hey, I loved it. I was like, we're best friends straight away. So good.
Straight away. You just vibe with the right energy people.
Yeah, exactly. Check the show notes, everyone, if you want quick links. They're all down there, and you can go stalk, go do all the things. We love to stalk.
We love to stalk.
We love to stalk. Thank you so much, babe.